So many men are finding it hard to find a woman who is supportive, but it's not because women are not supportive. I don't think like that, but actually women also are finding it hard to support the men because they look at support in a different perspective. But let's talk about how do we support our husbands. Welcome back, my family. I'm really grateful to see you again, and if you're new here on this channel, please, you know what to do. Just subscribe and join the family. First of all, before I go any further, a woman, a lady, you must be aware, does your husband really want you to support him? Because some men actually want women who are just submissive, who are going to just be playing along with whatever they're going to be telling them, to just listen to them and obey. So that is a very tricky issue. If you have that kind of husband, then you're going to find it a very big problem supporting him. On the other hand, if your husband is a type of man who wants to be supported, who wants a supportive wife, there's so many ways. Like, one is moral support, psychological support. This mostly happens when your husband has a situation like maybe they are stressed about something and they're going through some difficult situations. You don't actually have to sometimes support means like just talking to a person and encouraging them and telling them everything is going to be okay, reminding them of their favorite situations, showing them how strong they are, and telling them, like, tapping their body, holding their head and trying to cuddle them and telling them everything is going to be okay. You don't have to worry, we don't have to get stressed about this. That is also a kind of support. You don't actually have to be doing a lot of things, and support in that kind of moral situation basically sometimes means giving space. If this is a kind of man who would rather be left alone during the time of stress or personal issues, it is also a kind of support. You can support this husband of yours by leaving him or giving him some space alone to think through. Because most of the times women are so funny. When your man comes back home and he's stressed about something, you actually get to the nerves of this guy. You'll actually start asking him a lot of questions. What is happening? Why aren't you talking to me? Why is this happening? And why are you acting like that? Have I done something wrong? Like, too many questions at the same time, and this actually stresses this guy even more. So leaving him and giving him the space that he needs to think through his situations is very important, and it's the first thing you should do to support your husband. Just provide him with something to drink, give him a shower if he needs it. Just give him some time, and maybe he will talk to you about it after some time. And it's not that you should really force him to talk to you. If he's not comfortable talking to you about something, you don't have to support, like to force him to talk to you about it. Another type of support is financial support, and this is a situation whereby your partner has to be understood. You have to understand when there is, for instance, a financial breakdown. And let's say if your partner has a problem at work, maybe there's a salary decrease and blah blah, it is very necessary for you to understand. Your position here as a wife is for you to understand that my husband right now is having this kind of breakdown, and see how, because women were created in a way that we are caretakers and we are providers. There is a way we are nurtured in a different way. So it is necessary for you as a wife to understand that your husband has a financial breakdown, and help, if you have children, help talk to the children about it. And if there's been your husband has been doing a lot of holidays, a lot of bread and there are things he has been bringing home every day and he can't bring them, like, you have to find a way of at least coming in and bridging the gap between what has been happening and what is about to happen, and literally without affecting the children if you have children, and literally without affecting the relationship. If you've been in a relationship, and this is in a way that you only have to maybe break down on the expenses, on how you've been spending things in a cheap way but comfortable way. You don't have to be complaining and keep battling with this issue of we are broke and now we are broke, now we can't do this. You don't have to keep reminding him that we are broke, because women at times keep talking about it, how we are broke, how can we afford this? And at the same time, when your man is actually broke, at that time, that is when you start demanding for expensive things, and you want your program to stay on the same pace and the way it has been every day. Your duty here is to understand that right now there's a breakdown in the finances, and you need to find a way of you also trying to provide where necessary. You can also reduce on the expenses and the responsibilities of your husband, and try to reduce and help him reduce on how much has been spending, by you also being able to spend or cover up some of the bills he has been giving in. It is very important. Now, this is a time when a man literally needs a woman, and this is a time when a man really believes that you are the perfect woman for him, because if you can bridge the gap of finances for a man, it is very important. It's very important. So many women are in relationships whereby they can't even get a single coin to help their husband because they're saying, my money is my money. If he's broke, that is his issue. It's not my problem. But remember, you got into this relationship and you became one person, and at the same time, you both need to help one another. And in case there is an investment, that is another way of financially supporting your husband. If in case there is something he wants to invest in, it is so funny that some people, when they see the money in the pocket of a man, they start saying he has money, but he doesn't want to give me this, and he doesn't want to give me this. Okay, I'm not gonna blame anyone, because at times even the men themselves don't disclose the importance of this money. But if there is communication between the relationship and your man has actually told you the reason why he has that money, there is no need for you to bring up emergencies and saying this is an emergency, I need to do this. No, you need to support him in his investments. You just have to understand that my husband has to invest in a certain thing right now, so we have to break down on the expenses, on how we've been spending things, on how we've been spending the money, on whatever we've been buying. You can buy the same thing, you can buy the same bag, but at a cheaper price. That is what I'm talking about. If you've been putting on some kind of clothes that are like 1,000 million something, I don't know what that is called, but you can basically get a 50,000 cloth. At the same time, it is beautiful and good, looking good, and then you keep some of the money. You don't have to spend it all. You know what I'm talking about. You don't have to bug your husband and tell him, I'm not used to putting on that kind of makeup. If your husband wants to invest in something, it's going to be both benefiting you and him. So you need to be supporting him to go ahead and fulfill that dream of his investments. How? By trying to understand the situation and breaking down on the expenses. And another kind of support is physical support. This literally means like being available or being there when your partner needs you. I'll take an example of if your partner has a promotion at work and there is a party to celebrate him over there, you can physically attend the party. If that is if your partner is comfortable with you attending that kind of party. And if they're not comfortable, letting them go peacefully is also another kind of support. It is also another way you can support him. Let's take another example of if your partner has a burial back at his family, you can also physically attend the burial. You can also physically attend a family gathering. You can physically attend a family party. It is very important because most of the times when you involve physically in activities that your man is doing, take an example of your partner has a project that he's running at, like he's trying to work on, and you can actually do something about that project. You can come in and try to help him. If it needs typing and you're good at typing, type for him a proposal. If it needs to do different kinds of things that are really necessary, you can be there for him. If it means giving him a cup of tea while he goes through his work process or his proposals, it's also necessary. If it means accompanying him and being there with him when he's doing whatever late at night when he's doing his late night work, it is also another kind of physical support. So you don't basically have to keep leaving your partner doing his things and then he's doing his own work, and then you're actually not concerned. But at the end of the day, whatever he's doing is going to bring milk on the table. So it's very important you physically be available for your partner. But again, I'm not saying that because I said you have to be physically involved in your partner's life, you have to actually force it and say, I have to physically be available. No, sometimes if your partner is not comfortable with it, you don't have to force it, because when you force it, it's like you're overdoing it and you're making matters worse and you're making the support useless. So it is important if you understand and communicate to your partner. Let your partner let you know how you can support them. Ask and say, can I support you? Is there anything I can do? Is there any way I can help you? And if it's not comfortable with you doing it, you don't have to force it. That is also a kind of supporting someone, letting them do what they want to do in whatever way they want to do it. Another kind of support is emotional support. In this kind of situation, it needs you to do a few things about that affect the emotions of a person, that help a person emotionally to do whatever they want to do, like chasing his dreams. If your partner is having his personal dreams that he wants to accomplish in a certain time, your responsibility is to keep reminding your partner that we have to accomplish this in this time. You can even make him a timetable and make a plan for him and tell him, you know what, we said in 1 year we have to do this. Keep reminding him, because at times, when a person is caught up with a lot of things in the head, basically they can forget about something. Then you'll be like, that is his job, that is his duty, he has to do this and that. And basically it is not necessary for you to keep acting weird like that. You can only come in and tell your partner, you know what, honey, this is what we're supposed to do, this is what we plan to do within this time, within this period of time. And also emotional support could be like holding his hand when he's kind of stressed, hugging him when he's kind of stressed, expressing are expressing confidence and showing them that, you know what, I believe in you, I trust in you, and you can do this, and giving him advice on how to go about different kinds of situations, because there's so many situations when your partner could basically like be on the wall and he has actually no idea on how we can go about things, on how we can go about situations. But once you come in and like help him and advise him and be available and listen to him and confirm that this is the best you can do, we can go through this if we do this and this, advising him, giving him different ideas on how to go about the situation. If he has a dream he's chasing, you can actually give him different plans. Tell him, you know what, if we do this, we can accomplish this. If we try out this, we can do this. And that is the best that men actually want. That's why they keep saying, I want a woman who can support me, a woman who has better brains. It's only because these men need help. They need emotional help. They need someone who pushes them. They need someone who can at least listen to them and encourage them and give them different ideas, and help them in different circumstances and different situations. In this situation, I would also encourage the men to also be able to disclose their issues to the women, because a woman is not an angel. They will not know what you need or how you need to be helped. But if you need to be supported, it is of a good advantage if you talk to your wife about it and how you want her to help you out, because most of the men expect women to be I don't know, to just read their minds and know what they're supposed to do, but sometimes it's also difficult for me as a woman to understand what actually you want. So communication is key. You need to communicate on how you need your partner to help you out. And sometimes if your man or your woman does not know how to help or do something, it is wise of you to teach that woman, because sometimes a woman, or let's say a man could start up a business, but this woman is not business oriented. You need to teach this woman or involve this woman in the business, so in case of anything, this woman can be there to support you. But if you leave this woman out of whatever you're doing, one time when you need her to support you, she won't be able to do that. So it is very important if the men also try to involve women in whatever they do. And also, you don't expect a woman to physically or emotionally or financially support you if you also do not support her when she needs you. So it is both sides. Women need to be supported too. I'm not saying only the men need to be supported here. I just came around to talk about how the women need to support their husbands, but it's very necessary for the man to know that there is also need for you to support your wife in several ways. Most of the times men do not want to involve themselves in the small issues like knowing where the finances of a woman are going, and like trying to understand if a woman is spending how much and on what she's spending the money on. You basically just come out and say, this woman, she's using the money, I don't know what she uses the money for, but you actually have never sat down to find out how much this woman earns and how she spends her money. It is basically wise of you to find out and know how your wife is spending her money. Basically, women are people who want to buy decorations in the house, try to make the house better, are the ones who are contributing in buying those small things in the house that you actually don't look at as important things. And also maybe women are the people who are always being there to buy for the kids those small items that the kids need, because any woman wouldn't want to see a kid lack. So sometimes a man will come up and pay the medical bills, pay the school fees, pay the house rent, or like do blah blah, but actually forgetting that there's so many small stuff that this woman is also doing and playing part in her home. So it is very important, if a man, before you blame a woman for not supporting you either financially, you should be finding out how she spends her money and why she's not being able to support you. And also, if a woman is maybe like having those emotional situations, or you don't expect this woman. Now let me talk about a situation where women actually go through emotional situations. Maybe she's stressed about something, and maybe she's stressed with the children or the work, and a man expects this woman to actually 100% do her responsibility as a woman. Sometimes it is necessary for you, a man, to sit down and listen to your wife's situation and try to understand her, and sometimes forego some of the things. You can, washing dishes doesn't take your hands off, and cleaning the house doesn't take your hands off. I understand men were not brought up to take care of I don't know, but men were not brought up on how to be fathers. That's what I can say. But they're not trained on how to be fathers like the women are trained to be mothers and wives. It is of a disadvantage that men are not actually considered to be taught on how to be a father, on how to be a husband. They actually bump into those things and they don't know what they're supposed to do in the process. They just start on their own way and do whatever they feel like they should do. But at the end of the day, I feel like men, okay, women should teach your husbands on how to be a father, or maybe dress up the diaper, take care of the kids, what is necessary for a child, blah blah blah, before you actually complain and say, my man doesn't help me here, how can I help him? Do you know if he knows what to do? He might be not knowing how to wash dishes, because sometimes some men were brought up never to do any housework at home. So do you know if he knows how to wash dishes? Does he even know how to cook? You don't know about that. So if you need your man actually to support you in situations, you basically need to teach him, so that when the time is needed, when time comes and there is need for him to cook, there is need for him to wash the clothes, there is need for him to do any kind of housework, he can basically do it because he knows what to do. But if you don't teach him and if you don't train him how to do that, I'm talking about the women, then he will not know how to do that, and then you will complain and say he doesn't support you. But basically, men, if you know how to do all that stuff, the housework, help your wife once in a while in the housework. But the woman is taking care of the children, she's buying the nitty-gritties, she's taking care of you as a husband, she's cleaning the house and taking care of the house, and she has to work at the same time. Then you forget that this woman is actually getting tired at the end of the day, and you still expect her to be 100% perfect, which is not fair. So also the men, try to think about that and support your wives in so many ways, in a few things where they need you to support them. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you in the next video. Love you.